Hello.
Greetings from Scotland. How
How
are
are you?
you?
Very well, and you?
Lovely to see you
Very nice to see you as well. Where are you right now?
in Glasgow.
You're
In
in
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Yes,
Okay,
indeed. Yeah. So
good, nice.
life is slowly but surely getting back to normal here. I don't know how it is in Geneva right now, but
It's same thing. I mean, we go through this new COVID wave. It's always a bit complex, but we just make do with it. We just let it pass through. There's basically nothing lethal. Most of the people are vaccinated. The virus is less dangerous. So, I mean, it's a big wave of flu.
yeah,
So it's complicated. We've got basically 15% of our manufacturing staff that are at home right now. So it's not the best, but it's okay. We live with it, and that's life. I mean, what else can we do?
indeed,
So
indeed. And who would believe 2 years on we're still talking about this
yes,
pandemic?
no,
And we should have been in Dubai this week enjoying some sunshine, but maybe next year. Eh?
exactly. True. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. We'll get there back. We'll get back
Well,
there.
well, actually,
Hopefully, we'll
what
see
is
each other in
what is
Geneva.
what is exciting is to see so much innovation and so much still happening in the industry despite all these challenges that we have.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
and out of these
Absolutely.
tough times has come some great things. So
Yeah.
listen, all I can say is what a sparkling new collection for this year.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
what inspired such an emphasis on high jewelry for this year?
Well, I think this is something that you will see is not just happening now, and you will see more things coming in the future. Probably the global thinking that we are here for a reason. We are in the watch industry for a reason, and basically to give the perspective and the point of view of an Italian jeweler. So there's a lot of ongoing thinking about our raison d'être in a way. What is our purpose as a jeweler? What makes us one of the few Italian actors and the only Italian jewelers with a true perspective on watches? And how do we expose this? And clearly, naturally, well, the answer is jewelry watches by essence. And this is how we started. Our first watches from the 1910s, 1917, 1918, were jewelry watches. Our first secret watches were jewelry watches. And this is 80 years ago. This is 42. So all our history until the 70s, until roughly 50 years ago, brings us back to the world of jewelry watches by essence. And this is why you see, not only now, but you could see it during the Geneva Watch Days and last year as well, more and more explorations, jewelry explorations in watchmaking. Not only those, but clearly a true willingness to expose this craft, the expertise, be it from the selection of stones to the let's say the identification and purchase of the appropriate stones, to the setting, to the goldsmith work. We have to expose this, and we don't only have to expose this in the very high end with the Serpenti Mysteriosi, but we also have to expose it in the entry, in the core of our collections. We have to open the door of the jeweler to anybody entering the stores, wherever they are. And this is why you see an expression of the jewelers, of the Roman jeweler, into the new Lucia collections or the new Serpenti. There's always something precious in what we propose.
No, exactly. That's the thing, isn't it? It's what Bulgari is known for. How do you describe that working relationship with, I guess, your flamboyant jewelers in Rome and your more technical, I guess, watchmakers in Switzerland? How do the two work together?
Well, they work. Frankly, they wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't see so many products if they didn't work. And at the base, it starts with Mauro Di Roberto, the head of the jewelry business unit, and myself. We get along. He's such a gentleman. I very much like Mauro. and we do believe that there's a lot that we can do together, and we inspire ourselves each other. We inspire each other quite a lot. I'm just thinking of a couple of models from the jewelry collections, the recent jewelry collections, that are clearly inspired by our watches, and we clearly pick some ideas from some of the jewelry collections. But this is in a mindset that is a very positive one. We are not stealing. We are sharing. Totally, it's a totally different attitude. And the same goes. And obviously, if we kickstart the collaboration this way, and if we expose it, both worlds, to each other, there is so much to learn, and there is also so much to gain from it. And then, because of the success of the previous initiatives, there is a natural organization that installs itself. I mean, you don't have to push things if they come out naturally. And that's what's happening. We are implementing some gatherings, some meetings, and then the teams are picking them up and moving on with the projects. There are some elements that allow us to meet regularly through either physically or digitally, and to anticipate as well. We are working more and more ahead with the perspective of over the coming years, and of course this gives us time to exchange and to prepare and to collaborate. So it's just a matter of goodwill and open platforms.
And I guess one of the most obvious benefits of this partnership is this development of the Filicodissimo movement, which features so strongly in the new Serpenti collection and allows you as jewelers to do even more. Tell me about how this project came about, and tell me the challenges that you had, when you create or have to shrink a movement to such a size.
Well, it's a journey, and it's a journey that started 10 years ago, and that probably shaped up progressively. That let's say became more precise over the recent years. But the moment we see ourselves so comfortable with this idea of miniaturizing our calibers, we find out why we're so comfortable with it. Just because as jewelers and designers, we expect that the functionality disappears under the fluidity, the beauty of the product. And clearly we are probably slightly different from maybe the traditional watch industry that would tell you, function creates design. More probably would say, well, design supersedes function. And because the aesthetics, there's a say in Italy that says bello ben fatto, which means that when it's well done, it's always beautiful, or when it's beautiful, it's necessarily well done. But beauty goes above and beyond the aesthetics and the superficial aspects of things. So it is really a philosophical concept initially. And what is beautiful is right. So we are talking about virtue. The virtue is the lead of beauty. And this leads us to really driving our collections from a design perspective. And this is where the studio is absolutely key. And because of this, the question of minimizing the volume taken by the movement has become an obsession for us. So sometimes in watch manufacturers, people will say, I want to touch on everything. I want to touch on chronometry. I want to touch on astronomy. I want to touch on micromechanics, on power reserve. There are plenty of elements that you can touch upon when you're dealing with watchmaking. We can't do everything, and we don't want to do everything. Conversely, we want to be good at miniaturization, not only from a development perspective, but from an industrialization perspective, because it's easy to make very, very tiny calibers. What is important is to make calibers that work, okay, and to be able to repeat them. So that's our major point of focus. And the second one being chiming watches. not because we're a jeweler, because we are born like this as a watchmaker. We are born from high horology workshops that were developing grand sonnerie. And this is today still the ultimate, the epitome of watchmaking. So we have this in our hands as well. But the way we see those elements is with the perspective to make this world of chiming watching evolve and be modern. So how do you make chime be a modern attribute to watches? So two sides of our developments. One is a natural development of thin and small movements, and this is why you're just finishing on your question. It's a very natural move. We've scrutinized, we've explored the territory of very slim, and we are reaching the end. We've almost done everything, but naturally, the second chapter of micromechanisms is very small. So this is why we're sort of entering into a phase 2, or I like the idea of a chapter in our story of micromechanisms. While last year we've opened a chapter of tourbillon chiming 3-hammer Octoroma, and we're coming with another page of this chapter, which is one of the calibers of one of the elements of on chiming watches that we will come with new chapters in the coming years.
Well, picking up on that, you've launched 2 new Octoroma masterpieces this week. Tell us a bit about them. Natural.
Well, the first one that probably you can see on the video is our limited edition Octoroma Tourbillon Carillon. And this piece is the second version of this new caliber that we launched last year. The idea with this collection is to really explore the performance of the sound propagation. How can we make the sound as loud and crisp as possible? So we really looked at this watch from a sound projection perspective, which is why you get this dial that is opened. You've got a structure which is emptied in the inside, and it's titanium and platinum. So we've got the bezel and the back of the watch, which is in platinum, but the inserts that are in titanium, and open one in order to minimize the quantity of material and therefore limit the barriers to the propagation of the sound. And the same goes with the bottom, with the back of the watch, where we have this structure where you see we have an open back with this structure allowing for the sound to come out at the highest power. The first of our calibers last year, the first of our watch last year was delivering a level of sound of 80 decibels, which is very high in the world of watches. This one is slightly lower, is in the 70, 75, because of the bi-structured material. So we've got titanium, but we also have platinum, and titanium is an excellent material for the conduction of the waves. Platinum is not as good, but still a very high sound for a very precious, but also a very modern design. And this design is really important. It's a statement. We do not want to repeat the minute repeater of the past. We really project ourselves into the future with this watch.
Amazing.
And the other one is a crazy piece. It's this. It's just crazy. It's this full pavé diamond and emerald Octoroma, big, chunky, and featuring the Grand Sonnerie inside. So the best of both worlds. So we're putting on shelf everything we can do. Probably just a statement. You know, some of our pieces here are real statements. But I must say, one client ordered one of those pieces. So this one is one of a kind. We have already done another one of a kind, not in emerald. So some people always want the best. So we said, okay, we're going to show the best.
Well, certainly your collections this year have made a statement, haven't they? Really proven that relationship between watchmaking and high jewelry. You talked about, a chapter there in terms of the ultra thin, ultra finissimo. There's no record breakers this year. Does that mean you've conquered all of the ultra thin formats that you want to do, or is there still something up your sleeve?
There is, well, I love this question because it really tells us we've really made our point. Everybody's asking me, is there a new world record? Is there or is there not? Eventually we'll reach the end. I mean, there's a moment when you can't go beyond certain limits, just a matter of wearability. And this is why we're opening the chapter of Piccolissimo, because again, there is a limit, and the point is not just to make a statement for the sake of a statement. There are other ways to break records with Finissimo, and we've showed some. We just want to, we will be coming with new products this year, a few, because we believe the collection has reached its maturity. But we don't want to just live by world records. Although I love your question because it shows there is excitement. We don't want to just be living with this. We need some kind of rest around Finissimo. We need some kind of, just to let it breathe, to somewhat re-energize the process, the brains around Finissimo. But bear with us, we've got a few things to share in the coming month. And there are so many areas where we have plenty of projects, be it on miniaturization or on the side of chiming watches, that will not necessarily be world record per se, but that will be also surprising you. I promise.
I have no doubt there will be a surprise in there somewhere. So we're hoping by March for Watches and Wonders, life will be nearly normal again and we can all meet face to face again. And after 2 years of an absence, what can we expect to see from Bulgari for the rest of 2022?
We have something.
If you can tell me,
I'm crossing fingers. We have something fun to share with you, but I'm not going to tell you now, for sure.
Of course. Great.
I want the shock. I want you to be shocked.
Well, Antoine, I'm sure I will be. It's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you today. I know you're very busy nice. Today.
I just hope that I'll be able to come and visit you.
Of course, very welcome.
I've planned to visit Scotland this summer, so fingers crossed as well.
Well, we'll extend a warm Scottish welcome to you. Some Highland hospitality. Good. We can
excellent.
Take you on your tour. If you enjoy whiskey, we'll take you up to some distilleries and we can have some fun. But I wish you well. Congratulations on an absolutely stunning collection for 2022.
And so we hope to see you. We hope to see you in Geneva in April. Huh?
Look forward to it. Can't wait.
Okay.
All the best now.
Bye.
Have a good one. Cheers.
Really nice seeing you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.